Well, hello, Tetris citizens. It's your old pal Van Dweller back with more classic Tetris Monthly Masters event for June 2025. And in this broadcast, we have one single solitary match. That is it. There it is. It's the green bracket. Now, we already played the round one match of this green bracket. It's Gwafey versus 20 Dan 03. Gwafey took that one. We were going to play the second round match, but Peak had internet problems earlier in his Das Masters match, so he couldn't play the Peak versus Gwafey match. But the internet is back, the internet is working, and we are going to play Tetris on the internet. So that is what we're going to do, just this solo match. Now, we do have another bracket for you tonight. It's going to be purple. Where is that? There it is. Purple. That is going to be starting in about 2.5 hours. It's going to be Tetris Time versus Eliash and the winner versus Sodium Overdose. So that is going to be what we are doing today. Peak versus Gwafey. That'll take, a little bit. Then 2.5 hours starting from now. It's going to be the purple bracket. Taking a look at our rules real quick. Players pretty much know the rules, but just a reminder, players, please turn on your level 39 super kill screen. We will be using same piece sets re-rolled in between each game of the match. Remember, no turbo functions, whether electronical or mechanical, biological turbo only. No real-time advice. Do not pause unless I, the commentator, tell you to. And if you do experience a tech issue, internet outage, or anything like that, just keep playing and we will sort it out. If you want to contribute to the prize pool, that is a thing that you can do to help support classic Tetris monthly players. The prize pool is 100% funded by the fans. That is you. So if you want the prize pool to grow, use that Matcherino command. That'll bring up some links. The first one is the one for the Masters event. Click on that one. It'll take you to the landing page for this tournament with our prize pool partner, Matcherino. Excuse me. And then once you are at that site, top right-hand corner is where you can log in. Use your existing Twitch or YouTube account to do that. Don't have to make a separate Matcherino account. Once you're in, there's a little mustard-colored button that says contribute. Click on that. And, then you can contribute from there. So that is good. If we make our $2,000 incentive, which we have made every month for a while, we will pay our top 8. Otherwise, we're only going to pay our top 4, and that's fine, but we want to pay our top 8 because that is nice. We're already up to $135.11, and we need your help to get to, that goal, and we'll see if we can do it. So that's how to support the players. If you want to support the channel, you can do that in a lot of different ways, one of which is Patreon. Go to patreon.com/monthlytetris, and there's a whole list of people there that are helping us out. They've made a monthly or annual pledge of ongoing support to this channel to keep the thing that they love going, right? And that is the thing that you want to do. If you like something and you want it to continue, support it. Seems like a basic principle of human life. Support the things that you like. But anyway, thanks to everybody who is on this screen doing that. And big shouts to Scott, Gray, Jane, The Window, K9, Tacky, Corporal Shelby, Troy, Dan, Kim M, Rogue Potato, Cat Kid, and Mila. Really appreciate that. You also have channel memberships on YouTube, super chats. Those exist on Twitch. You got bits, you got subscriptions, you got Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime gaming subscriptions. And that is what you've got. I think that is all we really got to do for now. So let's go over to these players and look at them. $49.99 super chat from Johnny Consumer. Thank you, Johnny Consumer. Johnny says word. So thank you so much for the $49.99. Really appreciate that. Gwafey is here with the NES Zapper. And wow, very imposing and threatening. Vandy, what's your favorite stream you've ever done? Well, I don't know if I can say I have one favorite that I've ever done, but I really did like the Extreme Sports with the Berenstain Bears World Championship. That was a good stream. Pretty much any CTM final has got to be up there. So there's a lot of different ones. Commodore Friday says, oh my God, he's got a gun. Indeed, right? My word. You swear you saw this peak player earlier? I know you guys may not like this, but this is what peak Tetris looks like. Vandy, what's your favorite NES game outside of Tetris? Probably Punch-Out or Legend of Zelda. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get these players some pieces. 07726B, 07726B. And again, thanks again, Johnny Consumer, for the $50 super chat. Really appreciate that. It's very nice of you to do that. Please like the stream. If on Twitch, on YouTube, if you can do that, that would be nice. I'm not sure who this peak player is, but good luck, man, says Gwafey. Your favorite NES game, says Johnny Consumer, is Destiny of an Emperor. I have never heard of that. It's a real game. Destiny of an Emperor. 07726B. Both players are on scene, and as soon as they signal ready, we will get them underway. What is this? The green bracket? Green bracket. There it is. Yeah, make sure your 39 super kill screen is turned on. That would be good. All right, and now you are in. All right, there you are. You are now on seed, I think. Yes, you are. All right, looks like both players are ready. Let's go ahead and get him counted down. Green bracket round 2. Peak versus Gwafey in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. All right, starting off with the JSSS. All right, a lot of blue pieces coming out early on. On the left side of your screen, it is peak seed number 15. He earned that 15 seed with a 1.37 million qualifier. That's the average of his best 2 games played in a 1-hour qualifying period. Peak got a 1-round bye in virtue of this top 16 qualifier. Everybody from 9 to 16 gets a 1-round bye. Peak has an overall PB of 1.55 million. That's good for about 68th on the overall PB list. Peak, you might know, maybe most famously, as the organizer of Classic Tetris League, or an organizer, one of the streamers and organizers over there. Peak has trying to go on a run, looking for his first top 8 appearance in Masters. Was in the 16-player version of Masters a couple of times, most recently back in October of 2023. So looking to go on a run here, get into the top 8, see what happens. Peak has been in Mega Masters 4 times, getting to the round of 32 twice in 2022 and 2023. Actually, 2022 was only 32 players, so making it into Mega Masters back in those days was pretty exclusive. Peak is has been in CTWC Gold 1 time. That was back in 2021. That was the second online year. Made it to the round of 24 or the top 24. It was, I think it was a double elimination, so it was a little bit, you know, it's hard to say round of whatever, but made it into the top 24 back then. Also was in the top 4 of the silver bracket in 2022, top 8 in silver of 2020. And also a lot of appearances in DAS Masters for Peak as well. 106 for Peak, having kind of a rough start in game 1 of this one, but not out of the woods yet. On the right side of your screen, it is Gwafey. Our good long bar over to the left side for Peak. Gwafey, seed number 18, defeated 20 Dan 03 in round 1 to get here to round 2. Gwafey qualified in with a 1.32 million as an overall PB of 2.96 million. That's good for about 27th on the list. Gwafey has finished as high as the top 8 in this tournament, most recently in January. Has played in Mega Masters the last 2 years, getting into the round of 32. Gwafey also a future circuit winner. Did that back in July of 2024. 2-time gold player in CTWC, getting as high as the top 16, which he did this month. CTWC happened this month. Gwafey made it all the way to the round of 16. Had an epic match with Meme in that one. Gwafey was also top 4 at the Northeast Regional last year. So Peak having a little bit of a suffer game here. 197 through 97 lines. Trying to get out of this. This is a pretty rough run. 498 for Gwafey through 95. But still a lot of Tetris to be played. This is a best of 5 open play style tournament. So players, of course, will be, of course, any play style of open, but most players will be rolling. They will have until level 39 to do all their scoring. Peak finally has extricated himself from this horrible dig, which basically started since the beginning of the game. Is now at 241 with 8 lines to go until that 19 transition. Long bar over Tetris. Peak 264. Gwafey at 550 through 120 lines. And Peak is into 19 at 288. Long bar over Tetris. Peak 312. Gwafey going to uncover that right side well. Potentially 2 Tetrises for Gwafey. There's one, and could potentially get one more before the 19 transition. And there is the bar and the Tetris for Gwafey. 620 transition into 19. And right now, Gwafey with over a 300,000 point lead over Peak. Long bar over Peak 350. All right, Gwafey gets that T over to the left. Is built out for a Tetris, taking a couple of skims off that top of that well, and gets a Tetris 725. 369 for Peak. Open for a Tetris in column 3, and gets a bar over Tetris column 3 for Peak. Set up again. Kind of a spire there. Another Tetris for Peak, column 3. Just kind of staying over there in column 3. Another Tetris into column 3. He's going to transfer the well over to column 10 now. 461 for Peak, 767 Gwafey. Tetris Gwafey 1 row off the bottom now on level 23. Peak is on 25. You can see Peak trying to push the efficiency a little bit. All right, Tetris for both. 529 Peak, 863 for Gwafey. About a 332,000 point lead for Gwafey right now. Now, there is a big line difference. Peak was playing up so high on the board that Peak is, what about 10, 20, 20 lines right now ahead of Gwafey. 934 for Gwafey on 26. Peak 637. Peak now into 28. Gwafey still, or now just getting into 27. And Peak is into 29 at 721. All right, Peak with a good low board here. And this is, it's kind of an awkward situation because you're so far ahead in lines of your opponents. You don't know exactly what you're going to need. So you definitely have to stay alive because you have to outscore your opponent to win, but you just don't know how much you're going to need. So you really don't know how to kind of calibrate your aggression in this kind of situation. 791 for Peak, A31 for Gwafey into 29. So he's got the max out into what was formerly known as the kill screen. And now Peak has cut that lead to about 200,000 points now. So he's trimmed 100,000 off of Gwafey's lead. That L piece does not get all the way to the left, and that is going to start the spiral that causes Peak to top out here on 32. And Gwafey, you are good in game number 1. So a bit of a suffer game early is going to do Peak in, but Peak does outscore Gwafey, post 19 overall, at least for the portion which they overlapped. So okay, that is going to be a game for Gwafey, and we're going to give these players some new pieces for when they are ready. And it's 82 B8 A5, 82 Bravo 8 Alpha 5. All right, Gwafey going to turn on the Dark Brandon lights there. Emperor Palpatine lights are now on. So now it's serious. You know it's serious. Okay, it looks like both players are ready. 82 B8 A5, 82 B8 A5. And we're going to get him counted down. Both players are ready. Gwafey up 1-0. And, one of the great things about this game is no matter how your, one game goes, the next game, you start out 0-0, tied with your opponent. So you always got a chance to just kind of reset. Clean slate. So we'll see what happens. Gwafey on the board with a Tetris. You can see Peak pushing down. Tetris Gwafey starting off the game with 3 in a row. And so has Peak, but Peak is ahead in virtue of pushdown points. All right, Peak going to take his first double. I see Marktris, Ravioli, Lori, Netto JMS, Johnny Consumer, Cole Buckets, Black Ops, all hanging out over on YouTube. Thanks for hanging out there. Please like the stream if you haven't liked it. I mean, unless you don't like it. Like, if you don't like it, I'm not going to ask you to lie, right? So if you don't like it, don't like it. But if you do like it, like it. 174 for Peak, 169 for Gwafey. All right, Gwafey takes a triple to knock the stack down a bit. Kind of a pesky gap over there in column 1. But stack has been brought down, and he's going to get a Tetris. 200,000 for Gwafey, 224 Peak. Anime Avatar says, I like it, Vandy. All right, well, you better hit that little thumbs up to like it. So Gwafey with the Spire brewing here. This is tough. This is really tough. Okay, and he's just knocking this down. So crisis averted here for Gwafey. Now, open on that left side. It's going to be a triple. And the long bar goes in and a triple comes out. But now he's got a Tetris well over on that left. 2 rows off the bottom. If he can get the Tetris now, yeah, that will open up the left side and give him a fairly efficient well transfer, which he gets. 269 for Gwafey. Peak at 319. So ahead by 50,000 Peak. Peak going to get that Tetris. John says, what if I'm not sure? Well, you are on Twitch, so you don't have to like anything. You can just sit there and you can hate watch it if you want to. There should be a button that says I hate watching this, but I want it to continue. That would be a good button on YouTube. I don't want to give it a dislike because I want it to keep happening, but I'm going to keep hate watching it. Commodore Friday says, I hate this stream, Angry Bear. All right. Johnny Consumer with a $99.99 super chat says, I like it. Well, I thank you so much for liking it. Really appreciate that. $99.99 super chat. That is very generous. Very, very kind. Thank you so much, Johnny Consumer. So yeah, a lot of you might like this stream, but apparently not as much as Johnny Consumer does. 431 for Gwafey, 480 for Peak. John says, just kidding. Love the stream and the commentator. Oh my God, bro. You are in the minority on that one. I would say most people here tolerate the commentator. But I appreciate it. 457 for Gwafey, 528 for Peak. Our Borrow says, I love this stream. That's very nice. What's up, Cobra? 503 for Gwafey, 573 for Peak. Your internet forgot how to work. Well, your internet must be Gen Z. 510 for Gwafey. And an awkward 19 transition up pretty high, but, pretty good roller here. So see what he can do to survive. 515, 635 for Peak. Will STM have a prize pool? Yes. If anyone will contribute to it, I don't know. But will be no next box. Oh man, Gwafey's board absolutely crazy. Just bunched up over on that right side. Lots of weird little gaps. But getting it taken care of. Peak now kind of in on a long bar. And no, that's going to be a top out for Peak at 639. So Peak right now, 100,000 points ahead. 640 is the chase down for Gwafey. That is the target, 640. And all Peak can do is sit and watch and wait and hope. So I'm trying to think what the second mode will be for Stupid Tetris Monthly. We're going to start off with no next box. And I kind of want to do modes that you can do in the OG cart, but my heart is telling me to do drought mode, just 100% drought. 611 for Gwafey, 639 for Peak, 640 is the target. Gwafey can cinch this. Tetris will do it, and yes, Gwafey gonna take game number 2. You want to do no row for the second month? I figure we would get to no row, but we might do it. We might do it. But then, we might only do 32 players for that. Okay, how do I do this thing again? Yeah, there it is. All right, Gwafey goes up 2 games to none. New pieces A5, BE, E2. I mean, we will definitely do no row, but I don't know. My heart is telling me I want to. It's really, I go by what do I personally want to see, right? Because that's what I will be most excited about. And I think for me, Drought Hack is going to be what I want to see next. Okay, A5, BEE2. All right, looks like both players are ready. Let's count them down. Game number 3, Gwafey up 2 games to none. Peak needs to win to stay in. He's already won his round, starting. Yeah, Gwafey has won his round 1 match. He's here in round 2. Peak starting off here in the round of 24, trying to defend his top 16 seeding from these upstarts down there in round 1. Chroma says rollers still finding a way to get rollover with Drought Hack. Well, I think what's interesting about that, is to see what rollers will do with Drought Hack and, everybody else for that matter. But also just like optimizing the stacking for triples, right? Because triples are going to be, 7.5 times more valuable than singles, and, doubles are 3 times a single. So really optimizing for triples I think is really interesting to watch. And then just there we go, 5 below there for Gwafey up high. I'm always so impressed that part of the stack that high, players able to get those 5 belows and those quick adjustments, something I as a DAS player cannot do. Yeah, bang triple, maybe just bing triple. But yeah, I'm thinking Drought Hack. I think enough players have Tetris Gym that we should be able to do that, but we will definitely get no rotation in the rotation for sure. Secret grade I want to do. Would like to do some sort of B type. I want to do speed run. The other thing I think I want to do is speed run, but like 0 to 19 or something like that. Gwafey's setting up for the delayed Vits. And, of course, getting immediately punished with no bars. And there's the Vits for Gwafey filled in, and a couple of Tetrises. 231 for him, 238 for Peak. You like the min-out category. Yeah, I like the min-out category, too. I don't know that that can carry an entire month. But that will be in the rotation for the championship. But for a whole month, I don't know, min out. Well, Joe R35, you definitely need to demo all these modes for an idiot like me. Well, if you go back to the old Stupid Tetris monthly VODs, you can see all of these modes played. So I'd recommend doing that over on YouTube. Some of them you're going to find over on the Classic Tetris channel. We were streaming on there back then, at least for 2020. So yeah, for min-out mode, all singles would be the optimal. Gwafey with a super dirty Tetris. Board was pretty high, but he had an open well and nailed that dirty Tetris. So yeah, basically lowest score wins, you know, from 0 to 18. I mean, I'm sorry, 18 to 19 min-out. $454 for Peak, $419 for Gwafey. Gwafey gets a Tetris. Watermelon Cowboy asked if that drama got resolved. I mean, there's no resolution to it except that it still counts. Gwafey up way high on the board. This is going to be tough, and if he gets S or Z'd here to death, this could be really tough. That flat long bar really helps. Yeah, I mean, the resolution is I said so, and it remains that I have said so, and people who are mad, but they'll be okay. Wow, Gwafey, wow, with that J piece, and he immediately resolves it by flinging that long bar over that. How do you do that? That is absolutely crazy. So Gwafey bringing this down, doubles, triples, another double, waiting out a drought. Another double. Finally, long bars over for both. Gwafey is going to survive. That is utterly insane. $493 for Gwafey. There's a Tetris down. $588 for Peak on a good pace here. It's not going to be able to close this 18 phase out with a Tetris, but $594, very, very good pace for Peak. And Peak right now ahead by 80,000 points, also ahead by 8 lines. You want to do min out? We can do min out, but I have to think about min out for the new age. Is it going to be maybe 19 to 29 min out? Maybe. Like back in the day, we did 18 to 19 because, you know, people couldn't play really on 29. On 19. Well, they could play on 19, but they couldn't play reliably enough to get to 29 like every time, believe it or not. Tetris for Peak, $724. You want to do 29 to 39 min out? That would be bonkers. But no, I mean, 19 to 29. It's possible. I got to think about it. All right, Peak trying to avoid spiring here. And gets pieces left, right, opens up the right. Is now open. That's going to be good for a triple if he gets it, but just to bring this stack back down. And one piece here would get him Tetris ready if he can get it. And no, it does not come. Just going to knock this down. Bit by bit, Gwafey, $759, $788 for Peak. So Peak still in the lead. Going for a column for Tetris. Waiting on a bar, and the bar comes just in time. He uncovers it just in time. Gets it $820 for Peak, but now Gwafey in the lead, or at least tied in score anyway, has lines in hand. Peak is set up for a dirty Tetris. Let's see if he can get a quick bar. No, it's going to have to cover. Uncovers it again. Gwafey with a Tetris, 922. And all of a sudden, Gwafey ahead by 90,000 points. There's a Tetris for Peak into level 26 at 865. How about colors start mode? Well, too advanced for a 32-player tournament. You know, you can't just... I mean, maybe we could do something kind of limited. Like maybe some sort of 8-player tournament, 16-player tournament, but you can't do stuff that only 10 people in the world can do and have a 32-player tournament, you know? All right, so Peak has got to do something here because 29 is impending. And only 5 lines to burn. So what can he do to try to make this survivable? I don't know. And that is going to do it. Peak here with the top out on 28 at 925. So, yeah, Gwafey, you are good. You have taken this match in a sweep. So GG's to you. You will be moving on to the round of 16 Peak. GG's to you. Kind of a rough day of Tetris and Peak going out of both of our tournaments today, but really appreciate your hanging out, and we love you, Peak, and hope to see you here again. And everybody, please watch Classic Tetris League and participate. Okay, so yeah, that is going to do it. That's going to go in the books as a 3-0 sweep for Gwafey, and we will register that right now. GG's to you. Gwafey will be taking on Tristop later in the month. Don't know when that's going to be, but it will be eventually. All right, let's take a look at our thingamajig. Where is it? There it is. Green bracket. Refresh that. You want to start on charcoal? Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'm trying to test people's eyesight and how good their CRT displays charcoal colors. We're trying to have a real test of Tetris skills, you know? So stuff like you can't see the, you know, that it would vary too much for people's CRTs and eyesight. So I don't think that's really fair. Okay, well, that is the bracket. So now we've got a top 60. In fact, this whole side of the bracket is done. We could play this whole thing right now, all the way down to a finalist. It's gonna be Tristop Gwafey, Cole Eyeball, Huff Toogie, Knight, and Pixel Andy. So really only 2 of the players on this side of the bracket have won a Masters event in the past, and actually we are guaranteed to have a semi-finalist who has not won a Masters event, because Tristop, Gwafey, Cole, and Eyeball, one of those players will make it to the semis at least. And then, you know, our 2 other Masters event winners on this side of the bracket who are still around, they have to play each other in the top 8. So very intriguing on this side of the bracket. If we take a look at the other side, we've got a lot of the firepower is over here. Actually, a lot of the Masters event wins are over here. We still have Orange to play, but Miles and Wall Banter there. Dog is sitting there with his 11 wins, having to go through Meme. Kirby, who got a top 8 seed this month. Very impressive. Have to take on Dangler. Alex T versus Hydrant Dude. Blue Scooty still there, waiting on the results of the rest of the purple bracket. That purple bracket will take place tonight. That is going to start in about an hour and 50 minutes. So I will see you all then. Let me thank the people who contributed to this stream. And yeah, follower, YouTube subscription. I think that's a follower, DJ Mr. Burrow, Twitch sub and resub. Why isn't it showing super chats? It should be showing super chats. Let me refresh here. Maybe something's amiss. Yeah, it's showing YouTube subscription, DJ Mr. Burrow, Twitch sub, B Cantor. Oh, thank you, B Cantor. I think I missed you 10 minutes ago. Thank you. But super chat. Thank you so much to Johnny Consumer. Really appreciate that. Not sure why it's not showing in this automated thing, but very kind of you with all those super chats. Really helps out a lot. Yeah, really appreciate that. Thanks so much to our patrons as well. Everyone on this screen, and big shouts to Scott Gray, J, K9 Tacky, Corporal Shelby, Troy Dan, Kim Emerald, Potato Cacket, and Mila. And prize pool stands. Oh, that's Das Masters. We want Masters. Masters prize pool. Where are you, Masters prize pool? There you are. Sitting at 135.11. And want to thank everybody who has contributed to that prize pool. None today, I don't think, but we had a couple contributions from Cousin Avi, Roman Mitz, Rogue Potato, Uncle Ungie Jr., Arbaro, K-Schnur, and Whoops. And everybody did contribution codes. All right. We'll be back in a little under 2 hours. So thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. See you then. That is going to be Masters, Purple, Tetris Time, Eliash, and Sodium. Take care, YouTube. Bye-bye.